I never expected a single phone call to change the way I saw my family forever. But sometimes life saves its sharpest surprises for the moments you expect the least. When my phone rang that morning, I didn't recognize the number, but something about it made me pick up anyway. A woman introduced herself as an attorney. Calm voice, professional tone. She asked if I was the child of Margaret and Thomas Hale. I said yes. That's when she told me the news. My parents had been in a car accident the night before. They didn't make it. The world went silent, as if someone had paused the universe. I didn't cry at first. I just sank onto the edge of my bed and let the words hang there, unreal and heavy. I hadn't spoken to my parents in months, not because of anger, but because of distance, literal distance, and the kind that forms slowly when you're always the outsider in your own family. I was the youngest of three. My brothers, Nathan and Adam, grew up like a matched set, popular, athletic, loud enough to fill any room. My parents adored that. They celebrated every trophy, every achievement, every inflated goal the boys set. Meanwhile, I was the quiet one who liked books and computers more than football and parties. I didn't fit into the Hale family mold, and they never let me forget it. Growing up, I wasn't mistreated, just overlooked, a shadow in the background of everyone else's movie. Even after I left for college, nothing changed. My brothers built families and careers. My parents bragged about them to anyone who'd listen. And me? I worked in tech, but to them it sounded like I lived in a basement hacking into microwaves. They never asked what I did, not really, not enough to understand it. So when the attorney told me I needed to come to my parents' house for a meeting about the estate, I felt the familiar ache of being the outsider again, even in loss. Yet I agreed, because no matter what happened between us, they were still my parents. The drive home felt longer than it ever had. The house looked the same, dark green shutters, old brick porch, overgrown rose bushes my mother insisted she would trim every spring, but never did. My brother's cars were already in the driveway. Figures. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Nathan was pacing, phone glued to his hand. Adam sat with his arms crossed, jaw clenched. Both looked up as I walked in, surprised I'd come at all. "You made it," Nathan said. "Didn't think you'd drop everything so fast." I shrugged. "They were our parents." He didn't reply. Instead, he went back to whatever crisis was happening on his screen. Adam gave me a nod, the closest thing to warmth I would get from him. The attorney arrived shortly after. She invited us to sit in the living room where she laid out several folders on the coffee table. My brothers leaned in like wolves waiting for the first hint of a meal. "First," she began, "I want to express my condolences. Your parents cared deeply for all of you." I almost laughed. All of us? She clearly didn't know the Hales very well. She continued, "I'm here today because your parents left behind a will. It outlines how their estate is distributed." Before she even opened the folders, Nathan jumped in. "So the house, does it go to me or Adam? Because I'm assuming it's one of us." The attorney blinked. "Why would you assume that?" Nathan smirked. "Because we're the ones who've been around. I mean, look at him." He gestured at me. "He hasn't even visited in months." I felt heat rise in my cheeks. "Neither have you," I said quietly. Adam snapped. "Don't start. You know Mom and Dad always wanted the house to stay with the people who'd appreciate it." The implication was clear. I didn't fight back. I didn't need to. The attorney opened the will and glanced at the first line. "Actually," she said, "your parents left the house to their youngest child." The room froze. I stared. Nathan stared. Adam's jaw literally dropped. "What?" Nathan sputtered. "Why him?" The attorney adjusted her glasses. "Your parents included a note. It says they knew he," she nodded toward me, "would appreciate it not for its value, but for its memories." I swallowed. Memories. The same memories that often made me feel like a footnote in their story. But apparently, they saw something different. Nathan wasn't done. Fine, whatever. What about the savings accounts? The investments? Dad's pension? The attorney flipped a page. Everything else will be divided into 3 equal parts. That includes all liquid assets. Nathan and Adam relaxed a little. That seemed fair. Then she added, almost as an afterthought, "There is one additional clause." Both brothers tensed again. "Your parents designated your youngest brother as the executor of the estate." The explosion was immediate. "You've got to be kidding. He can't even manage his own life. This is a disaster." Their voices blurred together, loud and furious. I sat there quietly until the attorney raised her hand. "Your parents were very clear. Their youngest child has full authority over all decisions regarding the estate." Nathan glared at me, eyes burning. "How did you pull this off?" I stared back. "I didn't even know about it." Adam shook his head. "This is insane." The attorney wrapped up the meeting quickly, probably sensing the tension could turn physical at any moment. When she left, everything spiraled. Nathan cornered me in the hallway. "You're not keeping the house," he said. "Dad promised Adam could have it." "No," I said. "Dad hinted. A lot of things got hinted in this family. Very few were actually given." Adam stepped closer. "You're not equipped to handle this. You don't know anything about money or estates or responsibility." I raised an eyebrow. "You sure about that?" Nathan scoffed. "What, you think working your little tech job makes you better at this?" "Actually," I said calmly, "I think it makes me exactly the right person." That's when Adam snapped. "This is just like you, always playing the victim, always acting like you had it so hard while the rest of us carried the family." I didn't react outwardly, but inside something shifted. They had no idea. No idea what my life really looked like. No idea who I'd become while they were too busy dismissing me. The argument ended with them storming out, slamming the door behind them. For 2 days, I stayed in the house alone, sorting through papers, organizing files, cleaning out closets. I found old photos of family vacations where I had been cut off on the edges. Awards I'd earned shoved into boxes. Letters I had written from college never opened. It hurt. More than I expected. On the 3rd day, I found something else, something I hadn't planned to see. My childhood laptop. The one I used to code on as a teenager. That little machine had been the start of everything. The only thing my family never understood about me was the one thing that defined my entire adult life. I wasn't just working in tech. I built a company, quietly, meticulously, privately. While my brothers were busy with parties and vacations, I was building software. First small tools, then larger systems, then a platform that eventually exploded in popularity. A platform that major corporations started paying for. A platform that got acquired by a global tech giant 4 years later. My payout? $52 million, not including the $7 million I'd made from licensing deals before the acquisition. My total net worth, liquid and invested, was around $61 million. But my family never knew. They never asked. To them, I was the awkward, quiet kid who worked with computers. Nothing more. When Nathan and Adam returned on the 4th day, angry, confrontational, ready for another round, they didn't expect what came next. Nathan pointed a finger at me. "We talked to a lawyer. You can't just do whatever you want with the estate. We're contesting everything." Adam crossed his arms. "We're not letting you ruin this." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't match their anger. I simply walked to the dining table where my laptop sat, opened it, and pulled up my financial dashboard. I turned the screen toward them. For a moment, they didn't react. Then their eyes widened in unison. Nathan leaned in, confused. "What is this?" "My accounts," I said. Adam blinked. "Is this Real? Yes. The numbers stared back at them. $61,247,903.58. Silence filled the room. Not angry silence, shocked silence. The kind that makes time feel heavy. Nathan swallowed hard. Where did you get this? I built a company, I said. I sold it. Years ago. Adam looked like he might faint. You never told anyone. You never asked. Nathan sat down slowly, like his legs couldn't hold him anymore. All this time, we thought you were barely getting by. I know, I said softly. Why didn't you say anything? Adam whispered. I hesitated, then told the truth. Because it was easier to let you underestimate me than deal with what you'd expect if you knew. Nathan shook his head, stunned. So, you don't need any of this, he said, gesturing to the house, the estate, everything our parents left behind. I don't, I said, but that doesn't mean I'm giving it away. Both brothers straightened. This house, I continued, was left to me. I'm keeping it. Not because of the value, but because it's the one thing Mom and Dad chose for me intentionally. Adam nodded slowly, accepting it even if it stung. As for the money, I said, we'll divide it exactly as the will says. 3 equal parts. No arguments. Nathan exhaled, relieved. So, you're not cutting us out? No, I said, but you're not controlling me either. Something softened in Adam's face, something human. We were wrong about you, he said quietly. I shrugged. Maybe, but we can start over if you want. Nathan looked up. Yeah, I think we need that. For the first time in my life, my brothers looked at me not as the odd one out, not as the quiet kid, not as the disappointment, but as an equal, maybe even more than that. We settled the estate together over the next few weeks, calmly, fairly, without shouting, without resentment. And when everything was finished, Nathan stood on the porch beside me. You know, he said, I always thought I was the successful one. You are, I said with a smile. Not like you, he laughed. You built an empire. I shook my head. I built a life, that's all. He nodded slowly. I'm glad you're part of ours. For the first time, I believed him. It turns out the money wasn't the twist. The twist was finally being seen.